Namaste and welcome to Pramanic Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahasani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. And welcome to yet another episode of live Q&A. You can share your queries into the comment section, and we'll be answering all the questions. Okay, and if you want to discuss something, you can always share that. But make sure you're not sharing your birth details. Like, I won't recommend you to share the birth details. Okay, that won't help you. Okay, and those who are watching it as a replay, you can always check out the timestamps, or you can just uh, be patient, because this is going to be a Q&A. I'll be reading the queries and answering the questions from the comment section, those who are live. Okay, so yes, let's get started with this. And yes, if you still have any questions and queries, you can always put that into the comment section. I will read all the queries and I will reply to all the questions as well. Okay. So, are you able to hear me properly? Please put AVS into the comment section. Are you able to hear me properly? Just put in yes into the comment section. Yes. Great. Okay. So, yes, welcome Mathav Kumar, Rochelle, Ranjan, Bin, Ketus, Nomadia Karni, Yashas Rao, Vasanta Lakshmi, Yashas Rao, Vasanta Lakshmi, Mrunmaya Wade, Anthony Caprara, AKK Ninja. Okay, so yes, welcome. And yes, Koina Das, welcome. Yes, so those who are here, welcome. So let's get started with the question and answer. And if you have post your questions, be patient, because it will take time for me to read. So don't put your question multiple times. Don't spam. Okay. Okay. So yes, let's get started with the question. Greetings, sir. Okay, don't, no, don't, please don't share your birth details here. It won't be possible. It's not. Uh, I won't recommend you to do the sharing your public details on the sharing your birth details on the public domain. Please don't do that. Okay. So Rochelle Fernandez, namaste. Question number one: how to figure out if my ascendant is Ravana or other? Okay. And the second is questions regarding financial markets on my YouTube. So will you please tell your viewers? Thanks. Okay. So yes, how to ascertain ascendant. Okay. So the question is, how do we know whether my ascendant is Shravana, or it is something different? What should we do? Let's check out here. If you look at this, you will see this is the birth time. Like, this is the chart for the right now. Okay, so you have to see this. You see here AS written. This is ascendant. Okay, ascendant is the first house, and you would see some degrees around there, and you would see the nakshatras here. Okay, so when we manually cast the chart, What it shows is we just check the time for that into Panchang and put all the details of the ascendant. Okay, so through the degrees of the ascendant, you know the nakshatra of your ascendant. For example, this is into the, like, this is Cancer ascendant and it is into the fifth degree and 19 minutes of Cancer. Okay, so it is into the Pushya nakshatra. Okay, so it's into the Pushya nakshatra, right? Similarly, if you have your ascendant in Capricorn, look at the degrees and see the range of the Shravan nakshatra and see if your ascendant degrees are close into that nakshatra range. Then you can say that you have Shravan nakshatra. And this is the way to determine the nakshatra of your ascendant. I hope this has helped you. Now, namaste, sir. Today, okay, please don't share your birth details. I really sincerely apologize for this. Sun Rahu, Sun Rahu Mercury in the eighth house in Taurus, the Samsa. Talk, the Samsa is different. First, you have to see the deep one chart. Okay, don't just jump to the Shamsha and don't judge any planetary alignment isolated in the Samsa unless you know your D1 chart. Okay, that won't help you. So, what would be the result of Venus Mahadasha for Taurus Lagna? Venus in the 8th house in Sagittarius and Jupiter is exalted. Okay, so Venus is the planet of abundance and wealth, and 8th house is the house of legacy. 8th house is the house of big money, inheritances, insurance, taxes, government money. All these things can be seen with the 8th house. So when you have Venus placed into the 8th house, it shows you will have a legacy which will be carried. It also shows Venus Mahadasha. Okay, Venus was the guru of the Asuras, and he has a Sanjeevani mantra. Okay, so he was able to, uh, you know, uh, he was able to use this mantra to give life to the Asuras who are dead. Okay, so in Venus Mahadasha, you would be able to bring something to the life because of the 8th house impact. You would bring something out of into the life. Okay, for example, let's say you are into medicine, or if you are into, let's say, any other field, if you're into financial one, you'll find something which was hidden and buried for so long, and you will put light onto that information or knowledge. Okay, you would give sanjeevani to that knowledge. You will bring that to light. That's Venus, and that's Venus Mahadasha in 8th house. Okay, Sagittarius is also the sign of inspiration. So Venus getting into this sign also makes you inspired towards your work. Okay, so yes, what is the next one? Planet nakshatra wise in ascendant, but degree wise in Chalit house, what to consider? Okay, the Bhava Chalit chart is a Bhava Chalit chart, so it is about the Bhava. Okay, so always take the bhava of any planet from the bhavachali chart, and D1 is a Rashi chart. So consider the Rashi from the Rashi chart. Okay, and when it comes to degrees and the nakshatra, check the D1 chart. What is the degree and what is the nakshatra? Okay, I have made a detailed video on bhavachali chart and how to ascertain and determine the yogas. Let's say you have Ruchak yoga, but in Bhavachalit chart, it is going back to 12th house. So would you consider this as a Ruchak yoga, right? Or let's say you have Malavya yoga into the 7th house, and in the Bhavachalit, it is going to the 7th or going to the 6th or the 8th house, right? So how would you judge that yoga as well? So I have answered all those questions into those two videos. You can go and just check Bhavachali chart Pramanik. You will get those two videos, and also read the comments of those videos. The comments, I have already answered all these questions and all the scenarios into that house, into that Bhavachali chart. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Please don't share your birth details here, AK Ninja. Please don't share it. Please don't share. I have already made a video on love marriage and arranged marriage. You can go and watch that, but please don't share birth details here. Okay. So next question is, four planets in the 10,000 Libra: Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Rahu, Capricorn ascendant, with Saturn in Aquarius and Shatabisha. Does this combination give high government job or career in different area? Now, for this, you need to see couple of things. First, you need to see the 10th house lord, which is Venus, which is placed into the 10th house. Also check the D1 chart Saturn in the Shatabishana and both these planets into the D10 chart. Okay, another thing to look out for is the degree of these planets in the uh, chart. Okay, D10 will give you an idea about it. Okay, the Rashi occupied by these planets in D10 chart also will tell you more about the area of your career. Okay, you also have to see the Amatya Karaka. This is a Gemini concept. Amatya Karaka is a planet with the second highest degrees, and the nakshatra of Amatya Karaka also has a lot of influence on the career. Okay, so you have to see all these things. Okay, and you also have to see the connection of Sun and the sixth lord with all these planets for the government job. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Mercury, Jupiter, Sun, Rahu conjunct in ascendant, Saturn in 10th, Mars. Yeah, I think we discussed that. So if fifth lord is in conjunct with Ketu, then love marriage possible. Okay, see, here is a thing about love marriage. Love is fifth house, marriage is seventh house. There has to be a connection between the fifth house, seventh house, and fifth lord, seventh lord. To have to, you have your love getting converted into the marriage. Okay, so yeah, and when Ketu is conjunct with the fifth lord, it has nothing to do with your marriage. Okay, Ketu, you have to analyze Ketu with depth. Okay, go and watch my video about Ketu in the fifth house, and it makes Rahu in the 11th house. Which opens up the which opens up your social networking thing. It amplifies it. Okay, but the answer to your question is, it can be if it is connected with the seventh house. Okay, I hope this has helped. Thank you. What can you tell me about Saturn in the seventh house in my natal chart? Thank you. Yeah, seventh house, Saturn does well because in the natural horoscope it goes into the sign of Libra. Okay, so wherever we have Saturn placed in, we have some kind of fear, burden, and responsibilities. But at the same time, we are blessed with that house. Why? Because we are working on that house constantly. We are not confident about that house. So we are always conscious about that house. So I always say that houses which are not aspected or associated with Saturn are the houses you have to be really careful about, because you might be making mistake in those houses. Okay, and that's why Saturn into the seventh house, it brings in a mature partner. At the same time, it makes you humble. It also, the seventh house is 10th from the 10th, so it is the core of your career as well. That's why it is the planet, it is the house of the other people. The planet of karma comes into the house of other people, so you would love to serve other people. It makes you humble. All the Saturnian qualities of karma into the house of career. So I like the placement of Saturn in the seventh house, sixth house, 10th house, because it's all about the karma. That's what Saturn represents. Okay, but when it comes to relationship, Saturn is an old and cold planet. He's not interested into relationship. So with Saturn in the seventh house, you might have an older partner, and you yourself may not be interested into relationships. Let's say if you have Cancer ascendant or Leo ascendant, then you are ruled by the Saturn. The seventh house is ruled by Saturn itself. So then it becomes difficult for you to relate to other people. Okay, because for any relationship you need to have a compassion, and you also need to have a relation with the other person. You should be able to relate with you should be able to relate with that other person. Okay, and that's where Saturn feels restricted, Saturn feels disabled, Saturn feels he lacks in connecting with the people. That's what Saturn in the seventh house. I already made a separate video on that. You can go and watch that. If I have missed anything, you can always reach out to me through comments. Okay, what is the next house? CH Walid Afzal. Hi, sir. Jupiter in the second house in Ashlesha Nakshatra for Gemini ascendant, but debilitated in the Vamsha. Should you recommend stone of Jupiter here? I don't recommend any gemstones. I don't recommend any remedies. Apologies for that. Okay. So Bin, Moon in fourth, Saturn in ninth Parivartan Yoga, Sun in 11th, and Mercury in 10th Parivartan Yoga for Scorpio ascendant. Okay, so when you have Moon in the fourth, Saturn in the fourth, okay. So here's the thing: whenever you have any kind of a Parivartan Yoga, those two houses become powerful. Parivartan Yoga is a positive phenomena. If you have more and more Parivartan Yoga, you may not see that chart as effective. You might say, okay, I don't see anything. Remember we shared the chart of Srimati Indira Gandhi ji. We talked about her chart. She has so many parivartan yogas, and it's into the taurus and taurus and not taurus, the Saturn and moon exchange from first and fourth. So you won't see it, that Saturn in the fourth house as Saturn in the seventh house as something in Cancer sign, as something significant. But it's in exchange, it takes it to the other level. So whenever you have exchange of planets, always look for exchange of planets. More and more exchanges strengthens the chart. Okay, in fact, that is one of the key uh, or special point I always look for in the chart while I read the chart. Okay, along with all other points, I always look for the parivartan yoga. So for you, fourth and ninth, fourth house is the house of your mother, ninth house is the house of your father, your gurus, your teachings, your higher beliefs, and fourth house is about your emotions. So you have an exchange between this, so you feel grounded with your belief system, you feel aligned to your belief systems. Okay, and 10th house and 11th house parivartan yogas are all about the gains in your career, because 11th house is second to the 10th, and 10th house is 12th to the 11th. Okay, so it shows gains from the career. Okay, so can you please say any tips for people who have Ketu in their Lagna and who are undergoing Ketu Bhukti? I think I already made the video on the Ketu in the first house, but here's the thing: as first house is ascendant, is how you will experience this life. This is my first house. Okay, with all the planets or vacant aspects, conjunctions, nakshatra, it's the sum of all this that I have. That's ascendant. So when you have Ketu in the first house, Ketu does not have a head, and the first house is the house of head. The headless planet into the house of head makes you, you know keep on working without even thinking about it gives you an ability to bear so much pain. It also shows a lack of nourishment in the early part of your life. Okay, and when you're going through the Ketu dasha, okay, I suppose you're talking about the Ketu mahadasha and not just the antradasha. Okay, because antradasha can be any uh, antradasha, like it can be sun Ketu, Venus Ketu, moon Ketu, Rahu Ketu, whatever it is, it differs. But let's say you're going through the mahadasha of Ketu. What it shows is it makes you feel vacant from within. You feel that, you feel alone, you feel that little depressed, you feel nothing is working for you, you feel, even if you have everything, you feel vacant from within with Ketu mahadasha. Okay, and Ketu mahadasha is right after the Mercury mahadasha. Mercury mahadasha is full of energy and youthfulness and learnings. And when Ketu comes in, you will start feeling that you need to change your orientation towards the life. You don't feel the same enthusiasm as you had in Mercury Mahadasha. Okay. And that's what happens with Ketu in the first house. Okay. I hope this has helped you. Okay. So now, what is the next question? Okay. Does debilitated planet gives immense wealth? Yeah, it can give material gains, but again, you need to analyze some houses in your chart, which I'm not going to tell you here. But yes, you have to analyze the Dhana yogas, and there's debilitated planets to give wealth. Sean Rajkumara, Sun, Saturn, Moon, Jupiter in the eighth house. Taurus for Libra ascendant. What does it mean? Okay, so whenever you have Sun and Saturn and Moon placed into the eighth house, it shows a lot of burden on this house. You know, Moon is the planet of your mind, Sun is the planet of your soul, and now Saturn is the planet which is about burdens and responsibilities. But again, this would be too, uh, you know, this would be too um, early to say anything with this placement, because I never judge Sun and Jupiter conjunction in just one placement. This is the most sensitive placement. Saturn and Jupiter conjunction. It is one of the most difficult conjunctions to judge. There are many rules around it, because what happens is the Mahadasha of Jupiter and Saturn are back to back. So Jupiter Mahadasha is 16 years, Saturn Mahadasha is 19 years. So it's like almost 36 years of one's life is determined by these two planets if you have, you know, these two dashas lined up for you. So this conjunction becomes even more important with respect to these Mahadashas. Okay. So you can always see this, because Moon in the eighth house gives you a lot of stress. Okay, unnecessary stress, because eighth house is the house of ups and downs, and Moon is already about fluctuation. Okay, but it has the divine grace and savings of Jupiter in the eighth house. Okay, so this is how. So first thing you have to do is check the degrees of these planets, look at which are the planets close to each other. Then those conjunctions will be the most powerful conjunctions. Another thing you have to look out for is the degree of your ascendant. Okay, let's say degree of your ascendant is 5 degrees and Jupiter is close to 5 degrees, but Saturn is in 25th degree. Then Jupiter is more important for you because it is close to your ascendant degrees. Okay, and this is how you have to analyze this conjunction. Don't just try to jump into and try to predict it at one go. It's not possible. You have to see many things to predict about this conjunction. So whenever we have conjunction of more than two planets, it's not easy. We have to, break it down with degrees up to two planets, and then we have to go further. Okay. And also check what is the mahadasha you're running through. For example, let's say you are not going through any of this mahadasha. You are into the mahadasha of, let's say, Rahu. So you're not in Sun Mahadasha, Moon Mahadasha, Jupiter, Saturn, or even Venus Mahadasha, which is, ruling the Taurus and Libra. So it's nowhere related with this, not even Antradasha. Okay, then this conjunction hardly becomes effective for that time period. Okay, so this is how you judge and see for yourself. Okay, I hope this has helped you. So, what would an retrograde Venus with an exalted Mars in the ninth house do for Taurus Lagna? Yeah, it's good. Like Venus and Mars conjunction goes well with each other. Okay, and when we have retrograde planet, I've already made a separate video on retrograde Venus. You can go and watch that. But anytime you hear retrogression, it's about doing it again. Okay, so for in this scenario, you'll have to do, work on your relationships. You have to understand your relationship patterns, how they work. Okay. Tarang, so happy to find you online finally. Yes, Tarangji, I think I remember your question. You had some question around the spirituality, or how you would measure the spiritual progress, or how do you look at the spiritual progress into your one's chart. I think that was your question. Please share your question. But yeah, I'm happy to see you, that you can get your question answered. You don't need to go for a consultation. Okay, you can always get the answers here. Okay, so next is being tense. Sir, I would like to know from you about Saturn Dasha for Virgo Ascendant and Libra Moon. Saturn being in the fifth house in Capricorn sign and Libra Moon. Yeah, so Saturn in the fifth house is an intelligent placement. Why? Because Saturn is an intelligent planet into the fifth house of intelligence. Okay, for Virgo Ascendant, Saturn rules the sixth house and the fifth house. Okay, so the sixth and the fifth house is ruled by Saturn, is placed into the fifth house. Okay, sixth house is also the house of your daily routines, and Saturn loves routine. Okay, so yeah, this is and for Libra, again, it is into the second house, and this moon of Libra is aspected by this Saturn in the fifth house with the 10th house aspect. Okay, so all these are related with each other and are getting activated during this Mahadasha. Okay, so check for Saturn Moon or Saturn Venus Antradasha to to see the effect of this Saturn and how it get activated. Okay, okay, Akshay Shahan, please don't uh, share your birth details here. Please don't do it. Okay, what if Dara Karaka Moon in the seventh house? Yeah, it's good. Okay, but Moon is a sensitive planet. You have to see this placement very carefully. And when you have these placement, you also have to see Moon is the planet of love, and now it is your Darakaraka. So what it does is it is ready to compromise the self for that partner. Okay, in the process of loving that partner, you lose yourself. Okay, so you have to guard against that, because Aquarius is also the sign of letting go. Okay, so yeah, but this is a good placement. Okay, so for Sagittarius ascendant, Moon, Mars, and Jupiter tightly conjunct into the 8th house in Ashlesha Nakshatra. Okay, so for Sagittarius ascendant, Moon is ruling the 8th house, Mars is ruling the 12th house, and Jupiter is ruling the fourth house. Mars also rules the fifth house, and Moon does not rule any house, and Jupiter rules the fourth house. Okay, so all these energies are coming into the eighth house. So what it shows is, it shows a great ability to bring in change into one's life, because Jupiter conjunct with Moon in the eighth house of ups and downs and transformation, you know, it will bring in a lot of changes in your finances. It will bring you ups and downs in your finances as well, because Jupiter is the planet of finances and Moon is the planet of fluctuation. Okay, you also have to guard against the dates, because Mars is the planet which is usually about the dates. Okay, but this may not get activated ever in your life. Why? Vimshottari Mahadasha is important. Let's say you are born into Ketu Mahadasha, then you will have Mercury, Venus, Mercury, and it won't matter what's happening with Moon, Mars, Jupiter. It will hardly come as an Antardasha with all these Mahadashas. Okay, yeah. Abhinaya Ishwaran, Pranam sir, Pranam. Dhanya Nair, Namaste sir, Namaste Dhanya ji. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so Sagittarius ascendant, Scorpio Moon in conjunct with Jupiter in the 12th house, Venus in the second house in Capricorn. Venus in the second house, Venus is Atmakaraka, Mercury conjunct with Saturn in Aquarius in the third house, going through the Venus Maharaj. Yeah, it's good because it is Sagittarius ascendant. Venus is ruling the sixth house and the 11th house. Now, 11th house is sixth from the sixth, and which is an obstacle to obstacle, and which is again a planet which is about wealth and gains. Okay, so yeah, this is a very good placement for you as well. Okay, now let me just retro Saturn posited in Aquarius in seventh house. What would be the how would be the current Saturn Mahadasha? Ascendant Lord Sun is positioned in Leo in the first house. Yes. Okay. So whenever you have, I already talked about Saturn in the seventh house, but when you have Saturn and Sun opposite of each other, you always have to work on those houses, because now you will oftentimes see that whenever there is a conjunction of Saturn and Sun, it brings in a lot of struggle during. It brings a lot of struggle for those houses. Okay, for example, I've seen a person with the Saturn and Sun conjunction in the sixth house. So that person is always dealing with the government, or like a freedom fighter, or those who have chronic diseases. Okay, but at the same time, Saturn and Sun conjunction is very good for your career. Saturn is the planet of karma. Sun is the planet of authority, leadership, clarity, vision, and all the authoritative things in your life. Government can be seen with Sun. So whenever you see Sun and Saturn conjunction, I see a great rise in the career. Check for the Mahadasha for how it is going to get manifested in your life through dashas. Guys, I would recommend you always watch dashas. Dashas are far more important. Don't give much importance to transit. Yes, transit is important, but again, the transit is so personal. For example, right now Saturn, for example, right now Jupiter is going through the Pisces. So those who are 4, 8, 12 signs, let's say you have Cancer ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, Pisces ascendant, then this transit matters to them because it is going through their ascendant. Then they will see some changes in their life. like 159. But for others it might be going through third, second, fourth, fifth, you know. So it becomes difficult to just generalize the transit. But Vimshottari Mahadasha is based on the nakshatra, calculated based on the nakshatra, and the most important predictive tool, you should definitely check out Vimshottari Mahadasha all the time. All the time, check Vimshottari Mahadasha and relate it with your chart, and your predictive ability will go to the next level immediately. Okay, so yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of Vimshottari Mahadasha. Keep on using it and see what's happening in. Okay, so don't give importance to transit. I mean, yes, they are important. Sometimes they are the lord of your specific houses, those are getting triggered. But that has to be seen very specifically for each chart, and you can't just generalize, oh, so Saturn is here, so it's going to be. No, it's lagna specific, moon specific, lordship specific of the houses it rules in your chart. Okay, so when you're judging Jupiter's transit, so let's say you are Sagittarius ascendant and you want to judge the Jupiter's transit. So for you, it's more about the fourth house and the first house. So it would be different for you when it goes through the fourth house. Okay, and it's just little complicated, but what I mean to say is don't just jump onto the transit and keep watching the transit videos and make your opinion about how that time is going to be. Yes, transit works, but dashas are supreme. Okay, so just focus on dashas and then use transit as a ultimate, when you have to see the triggering of the event or the pinpointing of the event, then you can use the transit in the final calculations or final interpretation, but not as the basis of your interpretation. Okay, what should be the career in the 10th house moon Leo ascendant? I don't know, because there are many layers to it. I've already discussed this in the same stream earlier, wherein we discussed about the 10th house, 10th lord, Atmakaraka, degrees, and all that. That would give you an idea about what would be the career. Never just jump to conclusion just with one placement. Oh, I have Saturn exalted into the 10th house, I should go to the government, I should do. No, we don't know the complete picture. So uh, get never just interpret with just one placement. Okay, I hope this has helped. Winona, I hope I pronounce it right. Does Saturn debilitated in the second house, aspected by Mars in the eighth house, creates niche bhanga? Yeah, the anytime when there is uh, association of the planet, which is the sign ruled by the debilitation, the sign of debilitation is aspected by its lord, it just cancels the debilitation. But niche bhanga has its own specific criteria to fulfill. Okay, so it has to be with in Kendra from Lagna and Moon and so on. So yeah, it is canceling the debilitation for sure. And if you want to know more about the Nichabanga, I've already made a video on Nichabanga, Raj. You can go and watch that video. Okay, so sir, please tell me what happens when Rahu's depositor is conjunct Ketu in both. Yeah, it's a very good question. Okay, so we always talk about Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is about our future in this lifetime. Ketu are the things which you have already, mastered in the previous life. But just because we have mastered them in the previous life doesn't mean we can't or won't follow it in this lifetime, right? So the depositor of Rahu and Ketu are equally important. So when the Lord of the Rahu is conjunct with the Ketu, it shows that you don't have to go towards the Rahu. Even if you try to go towards the Rahu, the manifestation of it will be through the Ketu house. Why? Because the Lord of the Rahu house, where your future is, where you have to strive and thrive for this lifetime to get to the next level of your consciousness, is connected with your Ketu. So in this scenario, you will continue what you have mastered in the previous life, and you will continue working on your Ketu. That's what your Rahu wants you to do in this lifetime. Okay. So yes, it's a very good question. Bhanu Bokolia, Moon Mars axis, first house in Capricorn with Moon and Mars is in Cancer. So does this create any yoga? Maybe, but I don't know. Okay, because I hardly know 100 yogas. Okay, and if you observe the yogas, all the yogas, the effect of all the yogas are same, almost same. Okay, let's say you have the best yoga, Gajakesari yoga, Akhanda Samrajya yogas, and all kinds of this. This gives you money, wife, son, wealth, right? And if you have a bad yoga, so you would be deprived of food, would have diseases, would be unhappy, and so on. Then why there are so many different yogas? Okay, so whenever you are judging any kind of yoga, always focus and meditate on the name of that yoga. That name of the yoga is important more than the effect of the yogas. The name of the yogas is important. Okay, this is a take home message for you guys today. Whenever you go through the yoga, just why this name, what it means. Okay, what is Buddha Aditya Yoga? What is Akhanda Samrajya Yoga? What is Shankya Yoga? What is Shakat? What is Shasha Yoga? Why the name is given to that yoga, that specific name. You have to focus and work on that, and that will change the game for you when you analyzing the yogas. Abhishek, sun sign Aquarius, moon sign Leo, seventh house is Jupiter, Mars, Sun. What does it mean? Okay, what is your ascendant? I missed that. Arun, namaste. Namaste, Arunji. Capricorn ascendant, moon, Jupiter, and Venus conjunct in the fifth house. Okay, so fifth house is Taurus. So you have moon, Jupiter, and Venus in the Taurus in the fifth house, Mercury and Sun in the sixth house in Gemini, and Ketu in the eighth house, Mars in the third house yeah, in the third house is 10, 11, 12, Pisces. So Saturn in the 12th. Yes, what is your question? What do you think about the retrograde Saturn in Taurus, seventh house, Rohit? Yeah, we discussed that. Seventh house Saturn, we have discussed that already. Up to what degrees between the two planets are said to be conjunct and shows result? Okay, we have already discussed this in the conjunction video, but you have to see if it is closer than 6 degrees, close it up to 6 degrees, you can call it conjunction. Okay, there are close conjunction, loose conjunction. They can be in different houses but conjunct, can be in the same house but may not be conjunct. Okay, so you have to focus on this, and each planet has its degrees. So yeah, it's a good question. What does exalted Jupiter in the eighth house mean? Ascendant Lord in the eighth but exalted. Yeah, so Jupiter in the eighth house, the planet of wisdom, goes into the house of occult and mysticism. So you will be always be drawn towards occult and mysticism throughout your life. Okay, and the Jupiter is also the planet of expansion. So the planet of wisdom goes into the eighth house of mystical and occult science and expand himself. So you will always want to know more about occult in your life. Sir, Dharakaraka Sun in Aquarius in Shatabisha Nakshatra, can it mean spouse related to oil and petroleum? No, it need not. Venus in Chitra Nakshatra, yes, great. Thanks, Joe. Sir, I have Sun and Venus in the 12th house in Taurus in Virgo Navamsha. Sun in 27 degrees, Venus extremely combust at 27:35. Almost all the planets ruled by Venus. Jupiter plus Saturn in Taurus, Moon in Libra. Okay, I did not get the question. Mercury is retrograde and also Atmakaraka in Shravan Pada 4. I'm Aquarius. How will be my Mercury Mahasha? You need to analyze. Okay, there is steps to look at how to analyze the Mahadasha. But yeah, Mercury retrograde is a very good placement. Trust me. Mercury retrograde is not a bad placement. I would love to know your comments, but this is a very good placement. Mercury retrograde, Saturn retrograde is a very good placement. Okay. And when it is an Atmakaraka, it gives you an unusual personality. It gives you unique way of thinking and intelligence. Okay, I'm just reading the questions where I was. I was here. Okay. So Venus in the fifth house in Aries and Sagittarius ascendant. Can you tell me about this placement? Venus in the fifth house is good. The planet of art comes into the house of cinema, passion. It's good. The house of love and romance. It's good. Okay. So what happens when Rahu's depositor is conjunct Ketu in D1 and D1? I think we discussed this. Yeah. Daily process. Debilitated Vargottam Mercury in the ninth house Cancer ascendant. What can we conclude from it? Conjunct with Sun. Yeah, Vargottam planets are good planets. They give you good results. Thank you, sir. I'm Ajay Pramanik here. Is detailed Leo ascendant first house, fifth house. Yeah. Okay, I'm not able to visualize that right now. Atmakaraka debilitated Vargottam in ninth house, Revati Nakshatra, Pada 4 Cancer. What can we conclude? Sorry, I forgot to enter the word Atmakaraka in the previous one. Yeah. Can we be a non vegetarian chant mantra while doing yoga? I don't know. I'm not an authority to tell you about it. Okay. You can ask a priest or any guru or any yogi. He would be able to tell you more about the side effects of non vegetarian in your spiritual path. Or is it okay to have it? Okay. Okay. We discuss this. What does it, what does it when Jupiter goes to the eighth house in the Bhavachalit chart while conjunct with Venus in the ninth house? Yeah, we discussed this. I think you should go and watch that Bhavachalit chart, Amici. Okay, that is a video which will really help you to. It's confusing, I know. Bhavachalit is a bit confusing because we don't understand whether I should do take this or this. Okay, shall I consider the Bhavachalit or D1? Okay, so go and watch that video. But a one line answer to this is take a paper, go to the D1, check Venus, it's in which Rashi, put that Rashi name, go to the Bhavacharit, see that placement of house for that planet, and put that into that node. For example, your Venus uh, is in the eighth house in a Bhavachalit, okay, and it conjuncts the conjunct with Venus in the ninth house. It's in the Bhavchalit or it's in the D1, or just degree wise it is conjunct. That is important here. Okay. Vargottam ascendant Capricorn D1 in D9. Moon is also Vargottam. Yeah, there is constant tension regarding health, fear of failure. Why? Okay, Vargottam ascendant Capricorn. You have to see the sixth house, sixth lord association of it, and the dasha. That will give you an idea about why you're feeling like this. Hello, sir. Can you explain about retro Jupiter in the fourth house Capricorn for Libra ascendant? We already discussed that. Okay, retro Jupiter. I already made a separate video on retro Jupiter. Retro Jupiter becomes more like a Saturn, because now the retro Jupiter also gives you. So when Saturn is in the fourth house, it is more about your sleep patterns. Okay, but retro Jupiter is great placement to have. It gives you unique abilities and achieve greater things in life. Gemini ascendant, Moon in people, Mars in Cancer, Rahu, Venus in Pisces, Sun in Nature in Aries, and Mercury in Taurus. What does this mean? I don't know. I'm not able to visualize this right now. Apologies for that. Okay. Okay, we talked about this. Okay, then I think we discussed this. What is okay, sir? Sinha Lagna, Sun placed into the seventh house, aspected by Saturn. Will I get married? What kind of husband? You need to check Darakarka, it's Nakshatra D9, and then you will be able to know more about it. Okay. Okay, so guys, yes, this was today's Q&A. I have answered almost all the questions, and even if I have missed anyone's question, maybe I might have missed someone's question, you can put that into the comment section of this same video here. I'll reply to it. Okay, so see you in the next videos. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace. Namaste.